So I'm over here and I was washing dishes and I was just thinking like, damn, it's amazing how life evolves and changes and like I am filled with like a plethora of emotions like all the time and I'm touching on like so many memories in different parts of time and different places that was like so integral, like such a big thing, like so important, so vital at some point in time in my life that like really hurt my feelings, really taught me lessons, like moments where I had to look at myself and be like, okay, okay, Nikki, it's okay. Like, it's okay. It's okay. It can't mean this. Like, any of the things that's pressing against you to tell you that, like, you're nothing, like, that can't be true because we're here. Like, we're here. We're definitely important. We're definitely vital. We're definitely, like, we're the shit. And like sometimes even when it comes through, like, hey, like you're fucking awesome, right? It's like it can't be said without somebody trying to like not choke on it or something. Like without it having to be like served with a side dish of like animosity or like and I'm like, okay, like what's the problem? And kind of however way that you're aware, however way that you're aware of it, being aware that there's like so many different things. I'm like, at this point, what has been fake, fiction, and facts? Like, and like they're all facts. And just knowing that, like, I've touched on so much information and it doesn't feel like it matters. And that feels very, very, very disappointing and like such an act of betrayal. Such an act of betrayal because it's kind of like if I don't deserve it, then actually who does? And I don't really know anybody else's story. And like, yeah, sometimes there are rules in place and all of these like check mark boxes to check off to decide like and at some point when somebody doesn't feel like, hey, no, thank you, like, I'm tired. I'm too tired for that. Like, and that's the deadline. Okay, I'll try to remember. And then you forget. And then there's just like, I'm like, don't nobody just do nothing no more just because it's the right thing to do, like because they want to, because they seen the issue, like, and once they create like a stable income to get it done, does it not like negate? I don't know. I'm like, what? Oh, so even if you decide right here that this is enough to keep it going, and like you plan for this much in the future, and just like, okay, like how far the like, oh my gosh, how far in the future are you planning for this one thing? And like, do you not have it together yet? And do you need help? And there are moments where I felt powerful. Like, I know that I'm so powerful. I'm knocking on doors of ancestors that like you guys kind of forgot as a collective. Like, I'm like, hey, me and Papa Legba were like actually in a relationship or something down there somewhere. Like, even I think before I actually touched on New Orleans, like I think I was in a I think I got introduced to him like through a movie on this side, but he was like so familiar. It's like he was waiting on me when I knocked at the door and I'm like, "Hello." And like we ran our one too and there's so many times and so many energies and gods and goddesses or demons or whatever that's like so skipped over because of whatever anybody can't understand. I'm like, Bones was portrayed by Snoop, and I watched that movie like over and over. Like even if the parts made me uncomfortable, if it could be scary, like it wasn't nothing that I wasn't willing to explore. And then I'm like, I found Quayle TV, and it was like the same thing. But I'm just like, the only thing I wanted different for Quayle TV was that, like, for them to have like the money and the power and the influence and like the backing to like really use the effects. And then I was like, also, this is perfect because it lets you know that, like, it's everyday people. Like, where do you think these stories come from? Where do you think they originate from? Like, they're us, they're ours, they're our souls, and they want more conversation. And I'll listen to them and I'll talk to them, and I'm like, hey, y'all, like, there are so many things that I want. Like, is there anybody else out there for us to talk to? And like in a way that can make sure that we get like recognized. And I don't care about no awards, but like the money, like financial stability. And I'm like, I have so many like memories of being hunted down, like, oh my gosh, and trying to get away. Like, how many of my non-waking moments were like spent of trying to like get away to safety, to like catch a beat. And then like sometimes it following itself over here, like up above board. And then like even connecting with some of the other people in my life, especially women, and them talking about like different experiences they're having when they're sleeping, as far as like feeling like they're being kidnapped or feeling like this and this is happening. So like, I'm like, gosh damn, like, this shit don't stop. Really, really, like, how can you protect anybody? Like, where are the ones that's supposed to be the protectors? And I'm like, oh, they asses are asleep. They must be asleep. And they don't know how to pull long shifts at all. Like, they go a little bit of time, but then they have to get more rest. And I'm like, well, maybe they didn't finish resting in the womb, or like maybe they're telling me, like, maybe they're trying to tell me that like they don't need the energy spent in the extra parts, because then like they lose something. I'm like, so you lose something and like never catch up, like, because we exerted energy from our body to this particular part of your body while you're like fused with us, and while we're like playing with our magic, and we think something will be like amazing, like, you can't keep up. Is that essentially like what you're telling me? It's like no matter where it is, like, I have to sacrifice something? How fair is that? Like, no matter what is happening, like, no matter what is going on, like, my energy and everything was used, and like, this is what I felt like my earth needed, or my universe needed, or my planet needed. And you're saying like you couldn't rise to the occasion, like, like, what have you actually done since you've been here? Like, where did you exert the most energy? And it's like certain parts of me have like flashes or remnants of like souls and conversations, and I'm like, it feel like it's been life after life after life after life after life after life. And I'm like, at this point, there was a point in my life where like I didn't understand why people smoked weed all the time, like engaged, and like I was like, yeah, I want to still be able to enjoy like my day to day life and activities, and like the more life is happening over here, I'm like, hey, I still want that, and I want to be able to enjoy it like this, because whatever this is like an extra boost in connectivity or something. like whatever our brains are exposed to being like at such a low frequency in this dynamic simply because of like what everyone agrees to subscribe to. Like this is where something is needed, and I'm like, it's no longer fair to expect me to expend my energy in this way to keep up like anything for anybody else. Like I just will whether or not. Like I just will whether or not. And at one point in time, just like anything be equal. Like it's a steady climb. Like, and yeah, this is awesome. And it can be awesome at so many other levels, and graciously like being thankful that it was awesome at this level. And I'm like, is somebody or something holding me back? And I have to go like talk to my ancestors and elders and stuff because I'm like, I almost think that like you're being very, very neglectful, very rude, and very sabotaging. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here at all. I don't want to be in here. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to be like anywhere. Like, how haven't I shown that I don't want to? Like, I'm trying to figure out like all these different things to do for different people to be able to still take care of the environment and the people and everything for when I'm not here. Like, it's always planning for me not to be here, no matter what, because no matter what, like, nobody gives me a real excuse or reason of why I should be here. And knowing that at some point in time it won't matter. Like, why now? Like, as much, for example, as much as I love like Grey's Anatomy's episode where Jackson and April eloped, I was so mad at him. I was like, why that moment though? Like, she asked you multiple times during your time together, like blah 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 blah, and then like whatever was being said, and even what you had going on and everything, like with another woman. At that particular moment, you were like, "This is what I want," and I'm like, "Damn!" Like, can't nothing anybody do at that point in time, kind of, but accept it, like except for the woman, like how much of a situation you put her in, and then even at that time, like what she decides to do, if she doesn't, like it's like, wait, what happened all the times that I asked you in private before right here, like, and now you put me on the spot, and then her even feeling like, damn, like this I want, and like why would you do that to me? Because I want you too, and for whatever reason, and for all the reasons, choosing you. Like there's so many reasons so why that moment could be taking place, like under so many different realms, and like a fight amongst races and socioeconomic classes and so many other things, like in one person. And then the one that's like, you know what, I'm gonna jump in with you, and then it just does that. So I was watching that episode and I was like, yeah, cheering for them, like yeah, yeah. And also on the other side, I was like so embarrassed for his girlfriend at the time, and I was like trying to imagine like what kind of love that was that would have you do that. And even though I felt it, and it's like, where is that boldness, like in so many other aspects and so many other places in the world? Like, where does that boldness show up? Where does that boldness like be? And then like also for myself, like I wouldn't want to be in that predicament. I wouldn't find that like, oh, so romantic unless it was like, you know what, I've been playing myself. Like, can all three of us be a family? Like, I wouldn't want to. No. And then for me, like in that situation, it worked out just how I guess it should have. And for me, just like there's so many other nuances. Like Shonda as a writer, as a producer, like cuz I'm like I know if you're writing, you're producing or like kind of like even if you're not on the credit, but I know you're still involved somehow like even if it's not like you being hands on, like they have to take your words and they have to like figure out the different nuances. So I'm like, Shonda as a writer, like she's fucking brilliant. And I'm like, okay, I know she has a team, but what does that mean? Like, does she just like fire off to them, talking to them, and they have to put stuff together? Like, I've always wondered how that in the background like pulls together. And then also, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, does Shonda have a damn flashlight on my life? Like, hey, what are you looking at? And so honored with her jump in the music in the entertainment industry. Like I was watching Grey's Anatomy and like I'm like, was I watching Grey's Anatomy before Shonda got introduced, or was I watching Grey's Anatomy because Shonda was introduced? Like, and like knowing that her art is going to cause ripples, and I'm like, that's how it should be. Oh, that's how it should be. And like I said, I believe it was her that had like she adopted some babies. She adopted some babies. When I looked into that for a minute, I'm just like, how is she so tapped and in tune to me? Like me, Joe, and Alex, like I could so fit in with the team. Period. Like all our different backgrounds and ethnicities and like everything. Like it's like if you're going with your heart, you're gonna be protected as it should be. And like I be crying with them and laughing with them and I'm like, damn. And then she introduced Joe and talk about like a crossover to socioeconomic and racial barriers. Like I am damn rooting for Joe every time. Like and Alex and like all of them. The original cast automatic. And then like the new class, like baby girl. Oh my gosh, what's her name? The black girl in the newer class. Like I haven't watched I don't think the last couple seasons, but I was like, oh, you have my heart all the time. And then you have the Asian girl too. And just watching them figure out as much as I can, like their spots on the team. Like, oh, I love Grey's Anatomy as much as it's like so traumatic, trauma bonding at its finest. And like I said, when it comes to like certain issues like Joe, and then of course like when it came to Ellen and Patrick, like Zola, of course, will belong to them. They fought for that baby, like that baby to call theirs, and then it's like all the other nuances that can go with it. And when I'm watching up top, I'm like, oh, they fought for her. And not knowing what came on the other side. Like I couldn't remember the rest of the story. Like if she had parents that were alive, interested, I couldn't remember like the storyline. And I watched Private Practice too and followed that with Tay Diggs and Charlotte and all of that. And this be certain things I'll be wanting to go back and watch. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait till I get like my partner. We have like our friend groups and we can go back and binge the stuff that are like it's like finished already and just like talk shit and like study each other and study like that's always been like something that I've wanted to do. I'm like how life gets by us and like some of the things that we hope to do or desire to do like we don't really get to catch up with on some timeline, and some timelines it's always happening like it's always going down, and how unfair it feels for the completion of you. Like I'm like up here I get to just do this part of life. And it, when I know there's so much more that can be experienced. And I'm like, just give me my slice of the pie. Like, I don't have to go. And how did I get here? Like, how did my reflections become like certain nuances? And also at the same time, there's so many things that like I experienced all the way across the board that I don't know how to like attribute for. I don't know where to follow the red line between like blurred images, blurred lines, blurred realities, blurred loves. I'm like, is it an act of imagination or what? What? Like, what I be going through? Is it what we would call it an act of imagination? And as like a collective in this environment, like we just hear a story and we just keep going. But is there like a collective in there and the environment was like, hey, you have been making appearances in such and such's life. So like, yeah, we need to figure out what you want to do with that. And if you don't want to do anything with it, we get to decide if just because you showed up or whatever, because you showed up in our frequency, like, if we just get to take this as payment or like and allow you to keep going, or take this as payment and you decide like this is where you want to invest some time and energy in. And I'm like, is there a when Pac says they're having 4G, I'm like, is there, Pac? Like, how about psychic? Like, is there a heaven for a psychic and not some unknown heaven? Like, heaven where we get to bring everything together. Because it's other than that, we just continue to miss out. Like, we're so powerful and so accessible to be used by so many people. And do they really do anything in honor? I'm like, damn, every time I had to deliver at Cleveland State, Cleveland State and Case Western mostly, like, how I would be zoned out sometimes, like, not from smoking or anything, because, like, I'm not going to drive and do anything, but just driving and listening to music and let my mind flow and like having all my business ideas and all of the rejections and all of the questions and all of the questions and all of the answers and all of the concerns and all of the awareness at any point in time, like any point in time. I'm just like, does it have to be a big deal? Like, can y'all just keep up? And I'm like, there were moments where I was like so cool with people for whatever reason, because you got this business, I want to support you, and you a cool person, and blah blah blah, and oh, you know such and such, yeah. And then they become like, oh, whatever. Like, if this is what is important, if this is what makes the most sense, why not? And then at some point wondering like why this is the thing that makes sense. And then I'm like, women are so disregarded, and are we? Both of them can live together, like. I'm like, how many times am I supposed to live on this planet and be so alone or lonely and tired and disappointed and like yearning and expressing that I yearn and desire? How many times can I go to like other worlds and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool, but where is he? Like, I'm in Morocco and I'm like looking at the palace and I'm like, yeah, I see you and I know how exactly how you got here based on like um a loose fit of history and like where am I? Like where is she? Where is he? Where is my counterpart? Because I'm pretty sure that like this wasn't yours. And I'm in the front of the castle and I'm asking like so many questions that can't seem to be honored or answered. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Like there's a part of me that's like, don't worry about it. I'll just go ask my cousins. Because can't nobody convince me that something that's a big deal is not a big deal. Like, of course it's a big deal. Of course it is. You told me it was. Of course it's a big deal. And, yeah, essentially I'm just tired. Essentially. Essentially, I'm tired. I'd rather not have to figure it all out. I'd rather not have to be okay with some shit that I know, like, I'm not really okay with. I'd rather not have to figure out, like, some certain things for my basic survival. And, like, there's so many systems and people and, like, representatives that's, like, why not? Like, of course you would, no matter what. And I'm like, didn't I already conquer that, though? Like, you can do it again. Yeah, you got it. And now I'm like, now I'm exhausted. Like, where's all my willpower? What's supposed to come next? Like, I somehow had to spend all kind of energy on something I wasn't expecting or nor wanted. And like, what's happening next? And no matter what I think about, I'm like, damn, Darian, like you already kind of had this dream. Like, so which dreams was on bottom and which dreams was on top? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. What's the rules of this room? Like I've woken up in too many arenas. Like I have no idea what's happening. I'm so tired. And I don't even feel like I get the right to be tired. Like ain't that just some shit? Like that's even more crazy that I feel like I think that like I'm supposed to be I'm like I think that like I don't know if this is okay for real. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know if it's okay? Like I don't know if it's okay for me to not I don't know, be okay. And I'm tired. I really don't want to figure it out. And everything that I'm dreaming right now, like everything that I'm creating, it feels like I've already created in like a dream world. And I'm asking myself, like, did I already tell somebody this? That like I was felt like this or this was happening and they said, okay, they were gonna come help now? Like what am I missing? What am I missing? And like who's gonna tell me? And I don't know. I'm like it feels like I have to keep telling myself like that I am I'm okay, and I don't feel okay. Well, I don't feel okay at all. I feel like my ass has been getting set up like the cartel or anything else. And there are so many like there are so many songs that I'm singing to myself to keep me like informed, to keep me safe, to keep me uh preventing. I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm exhausted. I'm like, wherever I started, like, if I had the answers at one point in time about what was happening to me, I don't necessarily feel like I have them anymore. And more than anything, like, I'm just tired. Cause I'm like, I know at one point I thought about, like, Jumanji. Like, there was so many things happening in my mind at the beginning of this. I'm like, Jumanji, Jurassic Park. Like, there were so many things that were coming up about, like, my inheritance and, like, things that were owed to me and, like, things that, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm like, I can barely fucking feed myself. Like, I mean, I can. Based off what my budget is, like, I can. And then there's also the fact of, like, do I want this shit to be an issue? Like, I whether or not, like, when I'm used to, like, feeding myself and my kids and, like, honoring my life and my husband and my partners and whatever that may have happened just because of, like, being on this planet and what happens when there's war, because you niggas can't seem to live without it. Like, it's what gets you going in the morning. Well, okay, like, if that's what we're doing, then that's what we're doing. And even in that, like, what's next? How is it beneficial for the clan? I'm like, oh, it's not. It's not really. Does anybody else understand it's not? It doesn't feel that way. And at this point, I've been alone for so long. There are so many parts of me that's like, yeah, you knew that was going to happen. I'm like, did I really? It's like, yeah, you did. I'm like, how did I know? And it was like, right now, like, in this moment, I'm having so many moments where I feel like this shit is just deja vu. Like, I felt myself doing just this at some point in time. And I'm like, damn, at what point in time was it, though, that I felt like this was it? Because I also understand that it was never, like, supposed to be the winner, like, my first choice, something about a vine. Like, it wasn't never supposed to be my first choice or last choice or, like, yeah, like, I don't get it. And I just keep saying, like, be calm, Nikki, be calm, be understanding, be fair, like, listen to what they're saying. Something is not what you think, and everything that you think as well. And I'm like, yeah, whatever any of that means. Like, I want out. I want out. Like, I don't want to be a part of this. I'm like, and I keep asking myself, like, did somebody give me a warning that, like, something was coming that I wasn't expecting? Like, did somebody tell me I had company coming over? Like, or ask me, did I want to have company coming over? Like, what the hell is happening? Because this doesn't feel very welcoming. Like, I actually asked anybody over for lunch or dinner. I don't know. I'm rambling. And I'm like, how hard is it to really, like, want some regular shit? Like, this feels like basic shit that I want. Like, basic shit that everybody talk about, like that everybody breathe on, that everybody fucking drop tears on and have performances about. Like, it don't feel like I want anything fucking different. So what's the damn difference? What's the difference?